You can hear me? No? Still not? Still nothing?
Stani be. Konzumirano za sve.
Alright, well, I apologize for the issues with the technology. It's really amazing that I can talk to you guys. I'm all the way in Colorado, so it was pretty incredible. But yeah, sometimes technology is not always want to cooperate. But I guess I can do the show of hands. Is anybody out there a fan of sharks?
Raise your hands, you're a fan of sharks.
Svi.
I work with the Ocean First Institute, and we are based in Boulder, Colorado. We're up in the mountains, and there's not a whole lot of ocean nearby. But believe it or not, even here in the mountains, we're still connected to the ocean. So water from the mountains can still end up in our ocean, which is really, really incredible. So that's one of the things that we teach here at the Institute. And we talk to students like you guys all over the world. So I've talked to students in Hong Kong, Pakistan, Australia, all over the US. And it's just so incredible we can use technology to talk to kids all over the world about how cool sharks are. So what I'm going to do now, I'm actually going to share my screen with you guys. And to help out, I'm going to turn off my screen so that way you can see the PowerPoint that I have here. And there we go. All right, can you guys just raise your hand if you can see a hammerhead shark? Okay, perfect. Making sure you can see it. So I'm just going to tell you very briefly a little bit more about myself and how I got interested in this field, and share some really cool sharks with you guys. So one of the first animals I actually got to study were horseshoe crabs. So that's that creature there on the bottom who's kind of like a spider and a dinosaur put together. Has anybody heard of a horseshoe crab before? I've seen it. Oh, okay, very cool. So they actually come up on the beach and they'll lay their eggs in the sand. These are really cool looking animals, very similar to another animal that I've studied, which are sea turtles. That top picture is actually a sea turtle nest. So we're covering it with a metal grate because there are predators like raccoons that will come in and eat the eggs. So by putting that there, we can actually protect some of the eggs and give them a better chance of surviving. So those little hatchlings are so small, you can see one in my hand there, they can fit right through those openings and not have any trouble getting out, which just keeps out the predators. I also worked as an aquarist for a while. So have you guys seen a zookeeper at the zoo before?
Yes.
Have you seen that? Okay, great. So a keeper or an aquarist is kind of like a zookeeper but for fish. So I worked in an aquarium, and I also worked with a wildlife rehabilitation center where we took care of sea turtles that were injured or sick. So we would take care of them and then release them once they got better. And I got to dive a lot, which was really, really fun. I got to be around animals like this eagle ray in this picture and the sharks. So I not only did the shark physicals and fed them and prepared their food, but I got to dive in the water with them, which was really cool. And I got to be around sand tigers, black tips, a whole bunch of different kinds of sharks. Absolutely loved it. And then I went back to school, couldn't get enough of school, and studied conservation biology. And that's the protection of our natural world. So I specialize in marine conservation, which is our ocean and all the fun animals within it. And a big part of conservation, of protecting the environment, is education. So by telling people about how important it is and what they can do to help protect it, we can actually make sure we have a healthier, happier ocean. So raise your hands. Can you guys see a globe, a little earth there? Okay, I'm just making sure everything's still working. If you guys have any issues, just start waving your hands at me. So this is our planet. And to put things into perspective before I start talking about sharks, is to talk about how old our universe is. So our universe is about 13 billion years old, and our planet itself, right there, is 4.6 billion years old. So it's a really long time ago, and we're just looking at it, you can see we're a water planet. So about 71% of our planet is covered in water, which is really incredible. We're definitely a water planet. And that's actually where life started, was in our ocean. And at first it was really simple, but then it got more complicated over time. Take a look at this. So this was the very first jawed fish with that really bizarre looking mouth. This is called Heliocoprion, and this appeared about 400 million years ago. This is our very first shark. So sharks have been around a pretty long time. And what's really cool, this is older than some people think of as being really, really old. Oh, that got really loud. Can you guys say something? I can hear myself.
It's okay.
Hello?
No.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can't hear very well, but I can hear something.
Okay.
It's nice.
Yes, hey, I hear you! Yay! Alright. Yay, technology! Alright, well, who knew, did anybody already know that sharks are more ancient than dinosaurs?
You don't have to raise your hand.
Isn't that incredible? So these guys have been around a really long time, and they're true survivors. So they've been through a lot of mass extinction events, which is really, really incredible. Now, sharks are closely related to snakes and rays, and they have a skeleton, just like you and I do, but it's made out of cartilage. So that's the stuff at the end of your ears and your nose, and that's what makes them so lightweight and bendable. Now, because they've been around for so long, we find sharks everywhere in our ocean. So we find them in areas like coral reefs, to the muddy rivers of the Amazon. These are little polka dot stingrays here. And believe it or not, we find sharks in the polar regions. So this is a Greenland shark. These guys are massive animals, and they live year-round under the ice. So they have special adaptations in their blood that allow them to live there. And even in the parts of our ocean where there's no sunlight, so really deep in our ocean we have sharks there too. This is a frilled shark. And if you look at their teeth, they're kind of shaped like little tridents. And there's actually 300 teeth in that mouth there. So there's just this wide diversity of sharks in our ocean. And because of that, we find them everywhere. They've been around so long. There's over 500 different types of sharks. So did you guys know there were that many different kinds of sharks?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No? Isn't that incredible? It's absolutely amazing. There's that much diversity. So when you actually study a shark, it's pretty cool. It's almost like going back in time and seeing all the things that have shaped them to be all these different unique animals. And one of the first sharks I was going to talk about is the whale shark. So who's heard of a whale shark?
Me.
Everyone.
Okay, a couple of you guys. Well, this is the largest shark in our ocean. This is the biggest fish in the world. You can see just how big they are looking at this diver here. They are massive animals. And they don't have big teeth like a great white shark. They are something called a filter feeder. So they actually have really small teeth, and they filter out the smallest things in our ocean, called plankton. Just really, really amazing. Now, take a look at this. This is a dwarf lantern shark, and this is the smallest shark in the world. And believe it or not, that's as big as they get. Just the size of the palm of your hand. Really, really incredible. And they can glow in the dark. Did you guys know there are sharks that can glow in the dark?
Yes.
No.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah, and they're just one of many that can glow in the dark. So take a look at this. This is the velvet belly lantern shark. They can also glow in the dark. And this is a computer animation. So take a look at this. You can actually see where they glow. So there are spines on their back that glow in the dark. And that's to scare away potential predators. And their entire belly glows in the dark. So imagine your predator looking up at them. They're going to blend right in with the moonlight and the sunlight above them. So they actually use that glowing ability to blend in for camouflage. Now take a look at this guy. This is one of my favorites. Look at the mega mouth shark. So they have this wide, crazy mouth that goes past their eyes. So it's a huge, huge mouth. And we actually thought this shark was extinct. So we thought it was gone from our ocean forever. It wasn't until the 1970s that a fisherman caught one in his net. And we Now, do you guys see the white line above his lip? It kind of looks like a milk mustache.
Yes.
Yeah, so that actually glows in the dark. It's called a bioluminescent strip, and it will attract small fish. So the fish will see this glowing light, come check it out, and then the megamouth shark will eat them. So they actually use that little mustache to help them get food. It was really, really cool. This just shows you how big the megamouth shark is. You can see it next to people here. This was the 66 megamouth caught off the coast of Thailand about a year ago. Now this is called a carpet shark. Look at this guy. Does anybody know why we might call this the carpet shark? Or have a guess as to why? What do you guys think? Does anybody have a guess?
Because it looks like a carpet.
Because it's flat.
Yeah, it looks like carpet, doesn't it? Yeah, it looks to be like carpet. It has a really ornate, elaborate camouflage. That skin allows it to blend right into the coral reef. And they're very flat looking, just like a piece of carpet. They will lay there on the floor, and there's something called a sit and wait predator. So they actually wait for fish to swim by, and then they grab them and eat them. So they'll use that camouflage to help them get food. Now, did you guys know there are sharks that can walk on land?
No.
Yes.
Isn't that amazing? This is a real shark. This is called the epaulet shark. It's found in northern Australia. And believe it or not, it can walk on land. It's just really incredible. So it's using its side fins, those pectoral fins, to crawl on the reef. So these guys, when the water goes down, the tide goes down, they can still stay on top of the reef and continue eating. This is a really cool adaptation of theirs that allows them to get even more food. Now, who's heard of the mako shark before?
Me.
You hear them? Oh, a couple of you guys. Very cool. Well, these guys are known for their speed. They're very, very fast sharks. And they have very unique eyes. There's something special about their eyes. So I want to show you this video here. This is a mako shark actually chasing a boat with bait fish off the back. So believe it or not, these guys can go over 50 miles per hour. They're incredibly, incredibly fast. So they can easily keep up with a boat. And they actually do something really unique with their eyes. They superheat their eyes. So by warming those eyes up, they can not only see more clearly, they can actually stabilize their brain when they go into really cold water temperatures. So no matter where they're traveling or how fast they're traveling, they're always going to see really clearly. And that makes them that much more of an efficient predator. So you can see just how fast and how good they are at catching fish here. But take a look at this guy. I love this shark. This is the big-eyed thresher. And take a look at that tail. So they do something really unique with that. And they actually use it like a weapon. Kind of like a whip. So they will go up to a school of fish and hit them with that tail, and it'll stun them. And then they can turn around and eat them. So just with that tail, they actually can catch several fish at one time. So it's a really cool adaptation that allows them to get large meals just with the flick of their tail. It's really, really incredible. Now, who's seen a goblin shark before?
Me.
Oh, very cool. Look at this. So this is not the prettiest looking shark, but they are very, very cool. We think they use that really long nose to help them find food. They're found really deep in the ocean where it's really dark. And they also do something really unique with their jaw. So watch the goblin shark in this video. Watch what they do with their jaw when they run into something.
They extend it. It's lying. It doesn't. They extend the jaw.
Isn't that amazing? So this is a real shark that we find in our ocean. And we think they do that with their jaw, so they have a better chance of catching food. So they'll react really quickly to any movement, even in the deep dark ocean where they may not run into fish all the time, and that much better chance of locating their prey. Now, the last shark I'm going to talk about are our hammerheads, which is one of my favorites. So this is the most recently evolved shark. This is the most recent shark to appear in our ocean. And there's actually 9 different types. So look at this shark. They actually have different head shapes. So they come in everything from a shovel tight head shape all the way to a really distinct boomerang, and a big thing in between. So it's pretty incredible. Even within hammerheads, we have a lot of diversity. So this is a wingtip hammerhead here. They have a really exaggerated boomerang head shape. And the last thing I'm going to show you guys, this is a great hammerhead off the coast of Florida. And our researcher here is actually going to put a camera on the doorstep of a hammerhead. So don't do this at home. But it's going to give us a really cool view of what it's like to swim around like a hammerhead. Now, does anybody know or have any guesses as to what a hammerhead likes to eat?
Plankton.
What do you guys think?
Small fish. Plankton. Small fish.
Did you guys say fish? Sorry, I can't hear you.
Small fish.
Small fish.
Oh, okay, yes. So they will definitely eat fish, and one of their favorite things to eat are actually stingrays. So stingrays will burrow in the sand, so you can see them kind of sway back and forth. It's actually looking for food right now. Now sharks have all the same senses that you and I have, but they have an extra one called electrosense. So believe it or not, they can detect electricity. So you and I give off a little bit of electricity, even a small fish give off a little bit of electricity, and sharks can detect that. So between those two eyes and that big old head of theirs, they have all of these receptors, these sensors that can detect electricity to help them find food even when they can't see it, which is really, really incredible. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Can you guys see me okay?
Yes. See you and hear you perfectly. Can you hear us?
Perfect. Do you guys want to see a shark jaw?
Yes.
Yes, that's cool. Now this is actually from a sandbar shark. Take a look at this. Look at these teeth here. You see just how sharp and almost needle-like they are. So when you see these needle-like teeth, you know that these are meat eaters, and they're perfect for eating fish. So they can almost spear that affair. Now something really cool about sharks, I'm sure you guys already know this, they have all these rows of teeth. You guys see that?
Yes.
So sharks will actually go through 25 to 50,000 teeth in their lifetime. Isn't that amazing? They're constantly losing teeth. But you see all those rows there, it's almost like a conveyor belt. So as they lose a tooth, a new one replaces it, like a little conveyor belt. So it might take a day, it might take several months, and it doesn't take too long for them to actually get a new tooth. Because they don't have hands like you and I do. So they need to have those fresh set of teeth at all times to be able to catch their prey. Now does anybody know what tooth, or what shark this tooth is?
Okay, stop.
So can you actually come closer to the, or towards the teacher, if you can talk to the computer so it'll actually hear it a little better.
Megalodon.
The megalodon, very good, yes, you guys know your sharks. So the megalodon went extinct about 2 million years ago, and they were massive sharks. So you can see just looking at this tooth, just how big they were. And they were so big they could eat whales back in the day. Massive whales. So to put that in perspective here, I'm going to show you a person. So this is about how big we are. So we're a little over 2 meters long. You can look at this. This is the size of a great white whale. So they're going to be a little over 6 meters long. Much bigger than us. But look at this. This is the size of the megalodon. They were over 20 meters long. So even bigger than a whale shark. These guys were absolutely massive, really good predators way back in the day. Alright, now do you think that sharks are in trouble today?
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of sharks are in trouble. Even sharks like the great white. This is one of the most endangered sharks, believe it or not. One of the biggest sharks that we have today. Even with those big old teeth and their size, they're in trouble. And the reason why is because of all the fishing pressure that we're putting on sharks. Who's heard of shark fin soup? Has anybody heard of that before? A couple of you guys? Okay, great. So shark fin soup is a delicacy in Asia. It's very popular in China, but it's found all over the world. So I guarantee you guys, you can find it where you live. We do a fisherman will actually cut off the fins of sharks and put it into a soup. And the soup is very expensive. So it's sort of like a status symbol if you can afford it. But unfortunately, the demand is so high. We're pulling too many sharks out of the water. They can't keep up. So we actually fish about 100 million sharks out of our ocean every single year. That's a lot of sharks. And when you think about something like a great white, they may not reach adulthood until they're 30 years old. So it takes them a long time to become an adult and to have babies. So you can imagine if we're pulling them out of the water at a really fast rate, their numbers are just going to go down. They're not going to be able to bounce back. So by telling people about things like shark fin soup, even keeping our ocean clean, because pollution is also an issue for sharks, but telling people how important they are. Because even top predators have a really important role. They might seem big and scary, but they actually keep things in balance. So we need top predators to keep everything healthy in an ecosystem. So in our ocean, we can't have a healthy ocean without sharks, which is pretty incredible. So I hope you guys learned some new sharks today, and I would love to take any questions you might have about sharks or being a marine biologist or anything ocean related that you might have. So if you have any questions.
Okay, dear Lorin, because you can hear me now, it's a pleasure for me to tell you that this is our first Skype class ever, and we're so excited. We're so excited to talk to you today. And I ask my students to come closer to the computer so that you can hear us. Okay?
Perfect.
Can you come and ask questions? Come here and ask. What is the most endangered shark?
That's a really good question. So believe it or not, it is the biggest shark in our ocean, the great white. So there's only about 3,000 of these guys left in the entire world. And like I said, it's because of fishing pressures. The biggest predator to this guy are humans. So it's really unfortunate, but that means we can do something about it. So by not fishing them out of the water, telling people about how important they are, we can help protect them. So yeah, it's a great question. Thank you.
Do sharks have bones? Do sharks have a bone?
Sorry, I didn't get that. It's going in and out.
Do sharks have a bones?
Yes. So they have a skeleton, just like you and I do. See that here? But it's made out of cartilage. So it's made out of different stuff, but they still have a skeleton. It's just made out of cartilage. That's the stuff at the end of your ears and your nose, so that soft stuff. But yeah, you can see it here. They have a vertebrae, just like we do. And they have these bones that make up their insides.
Yes.
Is that cool? That's a great question. Thank you.
Next. How do sharks hear? How do sharks
Okay, we
hear?
got losing you guys. You still there? Okay, there, you're still there. Okay, good.
How do
Thank you for your
sharks
question.
How do sharks hear?
Oh, how do they hear? That's a really good question. So sharks have ears, just like you and I do. They just don't have these external earlobes. They just have these really small holes. So you may not be able to see it. And depending on the shark, it's usually just going to be somewhere on their head, around here. But they can hear. That's actually one of the first ways that they can detect prey is by hearing. So they might hear them before they even see them or smell them. But yes, they absolutely have ears that help them in the ocean.
I have one more question.
Okay, great.
Do bull sharks go in fresh water?
Yes, isn't that incredible? So bull sharks are something called an osmoregulator. So what that means, they can regulate the salt balance inside their body to match that of the water around them, which is really amazing. They can change their body chemistry. That's really cool. So they can go from salt water to fresh water, but they're so massive. That's also one of the reasons why they're one of the most dangerous sharks, because you don't expect to see a shark swimming up a river, and they run into people more often because of that. But yeah, they're such cool sharks. That's really cool you know that.
Can sharks smell blood in water?
Oh, sorry, I can't hear that. Can you talk more to the computer?
Can sharks smell blood in the water?
Talk to the screen.
Screen.
Like it's right there. To your left.
Can sharks smell blood in the water?
That was actually too loud that my computer stopped.
Can sharks smell blood in the water?
Yes, they absolutely can. So, in addition to really good hearing, good eyesight, good electrosense, they can smell blood. And the reason why, you can imagine if there's a fish that's sick or ill or has gotten hurt somehow and they're bleeding, that's going to be easy food for a shark. It's going to be easy prey to catch. So their ability to detect just the smallest amount of blood even far away helps them get food. So yeah, they absolutely can detect blood in the water.
How do sharks save boys?
How do sharks what?
Yes.
How do sharks
How do sharks save boys?
How do they float?
I can't figure the last part. I keep figuring how do sharks something.
How they swim?
How do you slow?
How do they float?
How do they float?
Oh, how do they float? That's a really good question. So sharks, you can see here, this is actually their liver. See how massive that is? And that makes up a large chunk of their body. And this can store oils inside their body, and that allows them to float. So some fish have something like a swim bladder inside them that can hold air, and that's how they can regulate where they are in the water column. But sharks use those oils in their liver, and that allows them to float instead of just sinking like a rock or just floating up at the surface. That allows them to kind of regulate where they are in the water, which is really, really cool. That's why they have such massive livers. It's for that reason, that purpose. See, that's a really good question. Thank you.
Really good question.
Do sharks sleep? Do sharks
Do
sleep?
sharks
Sleep?
sleep? Yes. So they do something really strange. I know a lot of sharks have to always be swimming to breathe because they need to have water going over their gills to breathe. Some of them can lay still though, and they have a special pump in their gills that moves water over them so they can lay still and rest. But what sharks do if they have to always be moving, they turn off half of their brain. They just turn it off, and they're almost like in a trance-flowing state. So they can still react if predators come after them or they see prey, but they're kind of like in a trance, just floating.